Okay, so playing out of time basically means that you just take your own time getting each of these notes right. This is where I'm at in studying. Um, these are eighth notes, one and two and three and four. And so if I'm one, two, three, four, that would be in time. It's in 4/4. Key of E major with the key signature. Doesn't really matter what I'm talking about right now, is just how it is that if you're going on to something difficult, it really is important that you get the tones first, so that this. I'm going to start, I'll just play these first two measures so you can hear that proper in time would be. Okay, one and two and three and four and one and two and three and. So even when I'm trying to play in time, I played out of time, and that's perfectly okay. Wherever you are and you're playing, the playing out of time will the time playing in time will come after you play out of time in your own time. This is kind of contradictory to mainstream status quo playing with the metronome, where you're hearing a tick, one, two, three, four. And the reason that I kind of emphasize that is, for several years I played to a metronome. You would start the tick off really slowly, and you would practice to it, and then as you got it down, you would speed up the click and the speed so that you could play it faster, which is great for those that can play and practice that way. But for some of us, including myself, it may take me like an hour to get some of these, especially once I'm getting up in these ledger lines, and that's up in the higher register of the bass, where I'm playing all the way up on the ninth fret there on that, where was I? Right here. No, actually right in here. So this G sharp is the 13th fret coming down to the E. So it's okay, and that first note is an eighth note, so it's and two, and then that B, and then the G sharp, and then it goes to an F sharp, to the D sharp, back to the E. All right, so that for me right now, where I'm at, is like it's challenging. So over time, I'm gonna get it. I'm going to go up to the top now and just play these. And I'm just going to play it out of time again so that you can hear like I've been playing bass for almost 40 years. I've been playing bass for 38 years. I'm 52. I started playing when I was 14. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because if you're just getting started, it's basically like the same thing, It's not as though, I can just rip. I'm not sight reading. I'm not on the level of, say, like a Broadway musician who plays in a pit orchestra, or a top-notch professional musician who is in a recording situation where they give you sheet music and you get like one rehearsal, two rehearsals, and on the third, it's like tape is rolling. And there are musicians that can read just like they read a language like English. So don't be hard on yourself if you're like taking like maybe 5 or 10 seconds. For each note, as long as you find these notes, it doesn't matter how long it takes you to do so. And in doing it this way, you're going to find your own way. And if you practice consistently, in time, you'll be able to play. You'll be if you practice consistently out of time, that will bring you to be able to play in time. So again, I'm just going to do this first measure just so you can see. So E, B, G sharp, C sharp, B, G sharp, F sharp, E. All right, super slow. If you're new to reading, these 4 hashtag looking things are sharps. Okay, so that would make every note in front of this, like, see that F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp. So E, B were good, but that G right there, that's a sharp because it's indicated in this key signature up in this space, all cows eat grass. So instead of putting a sharp in front of each note, they put it out here in front. So that's another thing you have to get into. This is intermediate. This isn't even advanced. Okay, so F, C, A, D sharp. C sharp, out of time, B natural, A, G sharp, and then I'm going to go right into this, and then A natural, no sharps or flats, A natural, E natural, C sharp, F sharp, E, C, B, A, all right. And then I'm going up here to this E, and that's like a huge shift. So I'm working on not looking at my bass while I'm playing. I'm looking at the music, all right? So I'm going to just go here. Now we're back to the beginning lessons in the beginning book, Jeff Berlin's Bass Education. And I'll just show you again, these are the same eighth notes, 1 and 2, and no hashtags, no sharps, no flats. That's the key of C, etude C, eighth notes, lesson 11. So that was ending right there. So these are easier for me because there's no sharps to think about while I'm playing this last exercise. I would like slow down on the A because I'm like, wait a minute, is it A sharp? No, it's A natural, and we're in the key of E major, 4 sharps. The next key that I'll be working in this lesson 12 will have 5 sharps, so that foxy chicks go dancing after every boy. So foxy chicks go dancing after A would be the next sharp. So if there's any terms or any confusion or, oh my God, dude, you're speaking Greek to me, just let me know. Write it in the comments. Questions, you can Google any term that you hear. Okay, so, and, you know, a lot of people might, well, why am I learning this? You know, I'm in a death metal band. How is this going to help me? Well, studying this will make for the conscious effort of learning the harmony and of each of these notes in each key when you go to play something like death metal or blues or jazz, your comprehension of that key that it's going to be in. So if you're playing in a death metal band and they say, okay, we're going to this new song, and the band leader comes to you or you go to them, this is an E major, then you're going to have a much greater idea, complete harmonic understanding and awareness of where it is that you can play so that you're in tune. And if you decide to go outside of the box and play a note that's not in the key of E major, you'll know those notes as well. You know, there's passing notes, there's chromatics that come up. So this is just a map, and just like in driving, the map's not the road, right? So this written music isn't actual music, it's just a map so that you can learn and understand this key and where it is that you can play. And this just so happens to be in a pattern that's similar to, say, like classical Bach etudes that you would study. Okay, so practice out of time. Take your time. You don't have to use a metronome. You don't have to use a click track. It doesn't matter how long you've been playing. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be little gaps, and that's the beauty of coming back to these things, because those little glitches that you might come into when you're practicing become less and less, and your awareness, your perception of where it is that you can play in each key is coming through more and more and more. Just like when you start working out, you know, you start getting a little bit more toned in certain areas, or if you're like walking a lot or jogging a lot, your legs start to get a little bit more defined. If you're doing push-ups a lot, you feel it in your arms and your chest, you know. So same with music. The more you take your time, I would suggest practicing for 15 minutes at a time and then getting up and taking a break for at least 5 minutes. When I was in high school, my bass teacher would say 15 minutes on, 15 minutes off. And that can be kind of tricky because sometimes the 15 minutes off turns into 30 minutes. So set a timer for the maximum amount that you feel as though is comfortable. I would say at least 5 minutes, but if that's too much, just make it a minute straight. Practice at your own rate and your own tempo. There's no competition here other than, you know, keeping in mind what it is that where you are with each passage, each line, each measure. You know, for me, down in here, these higher ledger lines is where I really have to slow down. Up here, this note here, you know, that my comprehension of ledger lines isn't as great as just the staff. All right? Have a great practice.